2025 marked the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a maritime tragedy immortalized in the haunting lyrics of Canadian singer Gordon Lightfoot. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early. Words that capture the historic danger of the Great Lakes to shipping this time of year. Since commercial shipping began on the lakes, about 6,000 shipwrecks have occurred there, many weather-related, and November has a particularly stormy reputation. Because the lakes are enclosed basins, waves can pile up much closer together than on the ocean, increasing the hazard to ships. This month, with winter around the corner, cold Canadian air moves south with increasing frequency, while high pressure often controls the east, sending a mild flow north, setting up a temperature contrast over the central U.S. that energizes the jet stream and helps to intensify storms as they move from the high plains to the lakes. And one such November gale took the Edmund Fitzgerald and all 29 men aboard to the bottom of Lake Superior on November 10, 1975. Launched in 1958, the Fitzgerald was a 729-foot long, 75-foot wide freighter, the largest ship on the Great Lakes at the time. The Fitzgerald left the western tip of Lake Superior under clear skies the afternoon of November 9, 1975, loaded with 26,000 tons of iron ore, bound for the steel mills of Detroit, a route it had traveled for more than 15 years. Now, the storm approached from the southwest. Winds initially on the lake were from the northeast, so the ship stayed on the north side of the lake because the biggest waves from a northeast wind would be on the south side. By sunrise the next day, the center of the storm was on the UP of Michigan, and the ship was reporting 40-mile-per-hour winds. The Fitzgerald and the still intensifying storm crossed paths that afternoon, and wind shifted to northwest behind the low. So the ship, now in southeastern Lake Superior, was exposed to larger waves because the wind now had a longer fetch over the water. Within hours, the Edmund Fitzgerald was listing, and the captain reported the worst seas he'd ever encountered. Around 7 that evening, the ship sank in hurricane-force wind gusts and waves up to 25 feet, only about 20 miles from land. In 2006, a paper in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society re-examined the weather associated with the storm that sank the Fitzgerald. Their detailed computer simulations suggested that the ship was caught in the most severe part of a storm that comes along only once every 10 to 20 years. Shipping on the Great Lakes remains a hugely valuable industry today. An estimated 240,000 U.S. and Canadian jobs dependent on maritime commerce on the lakes, with shipping accounting for approximately $35 billion in economic activity. More than 150 years ago, the power of Great Lakes storms played a role in shaping American weather history. The great loss of sailors and ships on the lakes helped convince Congress and President Ulysses S. Grant to create in 1870 the forerunner to what is today the National Weather Service.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call WxYz. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy.